Welcome back to the channel. Dave here, Stances Everything, and we are having a special video today. We are at Mike GT Custom Shop here in Ontario, and he's had my truck for a couple weeks now, and we're going to catch up and see how the exhaust is doing. But first, we're going to take a look at a couple of his projects because he's got some real sick stuff kicking around the shop, and it's always worth checking stuff out when we're out here. All right, so I might as well give you a rundown of what we've got going on here, and I can see if I can overlay some of this audio or leave this video in of me walking around. So over here, we've got his pre-runner truck. Mike drives this as much as possible. He didn't build this one, but he's done a couple of modifications to it since he's got it, and it's pretty sick. Apparently Larry Chen did a video of this. It's supposed to come out at some point. I'm not exactly sure when. Then we've got the truck he calls Gramps, which is a turbo 5.3 or 6 LS truck. Slammed, obviously, because Mike likes most things pretty damn low. We've got his 1JZ E46 M3. This is a legit E46 M3. Other than his black ride seat, everything in here is a really cool peanut butter color. I've taken some photos of this that I'll put into this video as well. This is one of my favorite vehicles in his fleet, just because one, I did the features on it. Two, it's got a titanium catback exhaust. Three, it just looks really sick and it works really, really well. And he's done a bunch of stuff to make it work as low as possible, which is obviously right up my alley. The next vehicle is this C10, which again is pretty hammered for a static vehicle, and it's got a diesel, I think it's a Cummins swap in this thing. And he picked this one up, did a few things to make it drivable, and then just drives his wheels off of it. And then obviously we've got the Subaru over here, classic, you know, winning rally blue color scheme with all this crazy Subaru livery over it. This looks pretty cool, and this gets spotted all the time, so you don't see a ton of these driving around anymore. So it's pretty rad that he has this, and again, it's just sort of driving it all around Oshawa and the surrounding area where he's from. Also, before we head inside, I'd be a complete jerk if I didn't mention the fact that Mike built this shop completely from the ground up with a bunch of homies during COVID. Super, super, super impressive shop. Really doesn't get much better than this. He's put a lot of thought into every part of it, and it's going to make it a perfect shop for him to work at for years to come. And I'm super happy that my truck has been here inside for a couple of weeks. So let's walk inside and see what's going on. All right, guys, we're here with the man who did my exhaust here, Mike. He is over there, and we're going to take a look at what he's done. How long have you had the truck, first of all?
I've had the truck for 3 weeks now,
about 3-4 weeks. Yeah.
So we've had it for a little bit longer than expected. We've had some nice Ontario weather with the snow falling down. And majority of the time I work on this truck is 2 to 3 hours a night after I work all day. So I come home and I kind of play with this. And Saturdays and Sundays. Last weekend was Easter, so got nothing done last weekend. Yeah. You find out you have all these plans.
Yeah,
and then you have plans, and you're like, oh, I have time to do this. It's like, no, you don't.
Yeah.
You gotta go do other stuff. So we're all done now. I literally, Dave came in this morning as I was finishing up the final tailpipe weld. Now it's just all the finishing touches that I want to do. Final hanger brackets on the tailpipes. I kind of want to do some little accent trims for them. Pull down the hanger brackets so I can paint those, because the brackets that they sit on are like just a mild steel bracket. So everything on this is painted, stainless hardware, so I gotta make it all match. So paint those brackets. We got some nice stainless hardware that we drilled and tapped up into his hanger bearing cross member thing that he kind of made up there. So other than that, we'll just kind of run through the process and show off some of the tubes that we got going on. And I'm excited. I'm excited for Dave to go get some ice cream in this thing finally. Like, now it's no excuses. It's pretty much get it on the road. You won't piss off the whole neighborhood now. You can like idle it and warm it up. But yeah, we'll just go through it. If you follow Dave and you've been through all of this stuff, you kind of know exactly what's going on. But we have a 4.8 liter LS V8. It's got a nice boomstick in it, a lot of trick pieces from our man Jeff. I adapted from the Holley, they're like Holley hooker cast manifolds. They came with these 2.5-inch flanges, so we just made some adapters, bump it up to 3-inch, because if we're doing it, we're doing big tubes. Just
That was actually one of the things I wanted to ask you about the 3-inch exhaust. Like, do you put 3-inch on everything pretty much?
Not everything. LS is just love 3-inch.
Yeah.
It's been proven. If you ever watch any of the Engine Master videos, there's one dude who's like the LS master who works at West Tech. He's a bald dude.
Yeah.
And he just like search anything LS like dyno information. The guy is amazing for it. So they test stuff back to back. They do X pipes. They do 1 7/8 primaries. Yeah. They check all the things, and 3-inch does help in the higher end horsepower. Helps bring the RPM out. Helps it breathe. This truck is just a 4-speed or 6-speed.
4L6.
Yeah, 4L6. Yeah, it's just a 4-speed. It's just for cruising. This thing isn't ripping tracks, but if you're gonna do something, we might as well do it to benefit. You know, if you're just gonna put a stroke 6 liter something in one day, now we got the tubes for it. They're there, so we're good. It's not really going to negatively affect anything.
Yep.
If anything, it's going to positively affect things. It's going to lose maybe some low end torque, but this thing, you idle it makes torque. So it's
not going to be, it's not a heavy truck at all.
No, so it's going to party. I think it's going to honestly rip around for what it is. The tubing will not make or break anything. It's just more or less, if we're going to do it, we might as well just do it once, do it right, buy once, cry once. There's a couple different ways you can go about it.
For sure.
But this truck runs like a factory style harness on it, so we got some nice O2 sensors for them. We got to plug those back in, order those up, put the bungs in. After the front pipes, we have our first set of V-bands, just so that everything comes off easy. I also have been, you see this nice shop? Yeah, I got a beautiful shop. I love it. I've also worked on the ground in a garage, in a small place, in a parking lot, changed new clutch slaves in a Tim Hortons parking lot. We've been there. So it's all nice. It's really nice to be able to make it so that you can work on it, pull stuff apart, service stuff. So yeah, I wanted to add a bunch of flange sections in, and it just makes it easy. I always use V-band flanges compared to like the 2-bolt flanges up on the manifold.
Yep.
1 bolt, no gaskets, no BS. It just works great. They're the cheapest things in the world, but again, it's a buy once, cry once thing. I just use the right stuff, and you'll be forever happy. You're never ever going to have issues with those, and it just makes serviceability easier. You and Ash can drop this no problem in the garage.
Well, actually, so one of the things that I was really glad to see that there's all these parts is because if I need to drop anything, if the drive shaft goes, if I change the drive shaft, if I change anything, I can just drop like disconnect it versus one big thing that's going to be a pain in the ass.
You'll literally just need a 13 mil socket, and that's it on an electric driver, a big electric tool guy, because you can leave these ones in, don't need to pull up the gaskets. A lot of the gaskets are kind of one use gaskets, and now you're changing shit when, like, you just want to be able to work on stuff easy. So it just makes serviceability super easy. Then we drilled some holes up in the cross member Dave made just to keep all the hangers tucked up and hidden on top of the mufflers. And tried to keep everything as symmetrical as possible. All the bands are in the same spot, all the welds are in the same spot. There was no issues with this. Dave and other guys were like, "Oh, it's gonna be so hard." I'm like, "I've done way harder things than this, man." And it's like the brake boosters there, no problem. I've had way lower. You get into some of these 30s chopped and screwed hot rods. It's like you get some stuff that's put in areas that are really inconvenient. So that is kind of an issue sometimes with these 50s trucks, is the brake boosters, brake masters sit underneath the vehicle. Dave got a really well-sized one. It's got a really tiny booster on it, so it helped us keep everything super tucked up. So no problemo. And then from there back, just into a nice pair of Borlas, because we want to keep the neighbors happy, and it's not going to be too loud. Probably one of my favorite mufflers to go with on these vehicles. I do love the Vibrant products as well too, but these Borla Pro XS mufflers on an LS, I think I showed you the video of my buddy Chevelle.
Yeah,
they just sound good. Like you can't really beat it. And for only using one component in there, because there's no catalytic converters, nothing like that. For one component, they're going to do the best job, in my personal opinion, for dampening sound.
And then, so I know you're really specific about the stainless that you use. Are those mufflers the same stainless? Yeah.
They're all 304 stainless steel. If I'm building a system to this caliber, where all the piping's 304, all the bends are 304, it's all sanitary stainless, same stuff that you would see in like a brewery. Same with the muffler components. Magnaflow products, Flowmaster products, I do use them all the time. But when we're making a system on this caliber, don't use that. Just get 304. So Vibrant, Borla, those are companies that make really good quality 304 stainless mufflers, and then everything kind of matches our application. And then from there back, we got another pair of flanges.
Yeah.
I love flanges. It just makes it easy. Again, when you start playing with this stuff yourself, even Dave saw me tossing this on. It's not bad. I can like, easily toss all this on myself. I'm making it all by myself anyway, so that's how you kind of want to go about it. We were hemming and hawing, and 20-year-old Jeff, when he built this frame, did not leave a lot of room for tubes.
Yeah.
or plumbing for tubes. I think he was just burnout truck kind of guy. He's one of them. So we went under the axle on it, which I don't do a lot. Usually it's always on like chopped, screwed, sectioned kind of vehicles with airbags or coilovers, because now you can get the best of both worlds. Even when Dave goes to the side of the truck, it's sitting in the air and it looks sick. It's lower than the majority of vehicles just as it sits right now. So that shows you the axle doesn't droop a crazy amount. So from here on out, the axle is going to go up in the chassis, and then we're going to get our gap on our tubes. But you also don't want to make it so that you lift the vehicle up and this axle is pushing down on these tubes. Yeah. So you find that perfect little recipe, and it's really hard to kind of visually see because we're underneath the truck and there's no bumper on it. But once he gets all those pieces on, you won't even see the diff. You probably honestly won't even see these 4-link brackets because the bumper is going to hide a lot of it. So all you're really going to see is just the downturns at the tips. Yeah, I love the downturn style. It just fits the classic muscle car, muscle truck era, in my opinion. People that like tips, like Chevy bow tie tips.
Yeah, that's not. I didn't want to do any Chevy bow tie tips. I mean, we talked before. I have a rendering where the exhaust came out here, but as everybody who's been following the channel knows, I've got a lot of work left to do these fenders, and I didn't want to have to take the exhaust off to do it. And actually, I'm pretty stoked too, because if we do, for whatever reason, ever need to change anything one day, it's just this back section, right?
Dude, I can make you some side pipes. We can leave all of this stuff, and I can literally just take from this V-band, make some snaky stuff, and then we can do some side pipes. Or, you know exactly what we would do is we would make some I would just rearrange the mid pipe, and we'd probably put some cutouts in these front pipes. And then we build some new side pipes out here, so then you can, that's what So then when you hit the switch, you have your like loud pipes coming in the side fenders, and then go back, quiet. That's exactly what I did on my buddy's like LS3 T56 Chevelle, and it's like the perfect setup. He doesn't like it loud, but he likes it loud at the same time. You know, he wants to make it loud, and he wants to like shut it off. So the cutouts work good in that, especially for this kind of application, for the Sunday driver. Just taking the kids out, taking the wife out, having some fun in it. That's where cutouts kind of work good. Whereas in your daily driven Dodge Ram in Ontario, it doesn't work too good. They break.
So those kind of questions and answers are the exact reason why I brought this over to Mike. He knows exactly what he's doing. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm figuring it out as I go along, and I wasn't going to figure it out as I go along with the exhaust. And I wanted it to look sick because you guys have seen the back half of the truck. Everything had to look good from the top and underneath. It's weird. Both of us drive our stuff, but for whatever reason, we're concerned with the underside of it. But it just makes maintainability that much easier when you care about the top and the bottom of everything.
Yeah, I always care way more about my engine bays than I do like anything else. The engine bay's always got to be like pop the hood and it's like sick.
Cool.
Which this has too, so we got to make everything match. Everyone who's done their jobs on it has done the best job that they can. So that's why it's here. There's no difference in that in the category. People do that. People do that with exhaust, man. They're like, it's just exhaust.
Yeah.
Come on.
Well, that was a battle too. That a lot of people were like, you just get it on the road. You can just put turn downs, and I'm like, yeah, but then
you can buy a Holly bolt-on kit. Make it on. Yeah, you can. But this is not what this truck was. The whole point of why wait is it's not like why wait. It's like why wait? It's taking 6 years. It wasn't that. It was most people wait till they're 50 or 60 to do something like this.
Yeah, 100%.
When their life is over, people have this vision and they're like, I'm going to work all this time, and then by the time it's too late.
Yeah.
You waited too long.
Exactly.
There is no light at the end of the tunnel. You are in the tunnel and you are the light. So create it how you want it. The whole point of trucks and cars like this is to do something you never thought that you could do with it. And I feel that Dave has done that in every area of this truck in terms of the engine bay, the interior, the exterior. He's never used BMX. He's BMX'd and been how I've met Dave. He's always been a photographer. He's been a photography guy. He's never been the car modifying guy. Like, you've always had a modified car, but you're not like me and Jeff, who have been like modifying stuff for years, right? So you to even take on that is huge, because most people would never even try welding anything, let alone doing body work and filler panels. Like, I can always appear, like, I've done a lot of sheet metal too. It sucks.
It's not, and like you look at a piece and you're like, oh, how hard can that be? And then you get into it and you're like, oh, there's a lot of curves here.
It's like, how did it, there was nothing there. How did I make it worse?
For sure.
You'll find a way. But it's just constantly playing with stuff and figuring it out and learning new tricks and tools. And that's the whole point of this truck and building projects like that. So just like him and anyone else, don't wait. Just start doing an hour a day, a thing here or there. It adds up. It might take you 4 weeks to build an exhaust, but at the end of the tunnel, you have a finished project, as long as you're putting the 2-3 hours when you have this 100-hour undertaking. It's like, it'll never get done if you're always looking at 100 hours.
Well, it's that time slot you talked about, right? Like, you get home, you eat some dinner, and then you go right back out and work at it, and that's when the passion happens, though, right? Yeah, for sure. All right, so the next thing we're gonna do, we're gonna put this on the ground, and then Mike and I are gonna talk for his channel about the truck. And then once it's on the ground, we'll get back and we'll look at the exhaust, because we gotta see this thing on the ground to see how tucked up the exhaust is, because it's gonna be really sick. So we'll be back in a little bit after I talk to Mike about all the stuff that happens in the truck that you guys already know. Back, typical fashion for me, it's a couple days later. We had to get it on the ground, get a couple of exhaust gaskets just to make sure that we could start it, because what's an exhaust video without hearing it run? So it's on the ground now. And we will go to the back, show what it looks like there, and then we'll start it up, put it on the trailer, get it back to my garage, and finish this all out. So if you look from the back here, everything's really, really clean. You can just barely see it tucking out past there, past the back of the fender, which is exactly what we wanted. We wanted the exhaust not to be too visually loud, but definitely look clean and tidy. Go to the back half here and see how nice it looks coming out there. I'm really stoked on how it comes beside the drive shaft and splits out on either end there. You can see just enough of it to know that someone took their time doing it, but not too much that it takes away from anything else back there. You like it?
I love it. I love when people just kind of, I trust you.
It's like
perfect. So we just got some fresh O2 sensors for him, because Dave needed those, and we ordered in some gaskets for the Holley swap manifolds that are on this bad boy. So pretty much got the final pieces dialed, and we lined up the tow truck, which is pulling in now Friday just before a weekend. So it's awesome for Dave. Like I think the last time we filmed was pretty much Easter family weekend. So we're just like shuffling a bunch of stuff, running around. He's got family activities, kids plans. I've got family activities. So we've got everything dialed in now. I'm super happy with it, dude. It just turned out awesome. I love how it's laid out. We were him and Han of going up over the axles, but this truck, like, Jeff is wild, man. This thing is just, even right now, the bags are pretty much at full pressure, and it's pretty much tucking rim in the rear. So we decided to go with the under axle setup, just added more room, and I didn't have to go under the frame rails. Less stuff in the future for Dave if he's gonna put like a wooden box and stuff in, whatever he's gonna do for the box. There's just no tubes in the way for any mounts he's gonna make, whatever the case. So I think this just ended up perfect. We got a bunch of V-bands so that he can easily work on stuff if he needs to, pull out bags, whatever. It's a hot rod. You're always working on it. It never ends. So you want to make stuff as serviceable as you can. So in the future, you're not like hating yourself. You got to look out for future Mike or future Dave. Like, that's what you're doing when you're doing these things. You're looking out for future you. Other than that, we're going to pretty much start it up. I'm going to move my heavy Chevy out of the way. And we're going to see how the tow truck guy wants to lift it up on there. I don't know if he wants to go forward or back, but it runs way better with the O2s now. So we're definitely doing a little startup. We already started it one time just to get it off the hoist, fill up the bags. I think Dave is super surprised of actually how mellow it is, especially from the last videos that have been running around of it. Open headers is a little rowdy. So we might end up adding some stuff in the future. If he feels like he wants a little more sound when he's cruising around, we can always put a pair of cutouts or something in there. I'm always open. We can always modify stuff, but I think this is perfect for the stage that it's at. Get it back home. Beautiful weather we're getting. I think it's pretty much time for Dave to get this thing on the road, folks. I think this is the 2024 is the summer of the siege.
SIE GMC.
SIE GMC. To hit the streets, go get some ice cream, go to some soccer games, all that fun stuff.
Cool.
Yeah, dude.
All right, so we're gonna get this thing on the trailer. I'm gonna put the camera somewhere where we can start it up and you can see us sort of moving a bunch of stuff around, but definitely hear it because it does sound awesome. And then we'll depending on how things go, I might film another quick little exit with it in my garage, but this might be it. This is definitely probably the last time you're going to see Mike for a little bit. So thanks, Mike, and we'll see you in the next cut. All right, everyone, we're back. Another cut, another day, and we are in familiar territory, which is my garage here at home. And like Mike said in the last cut, it's time for the rubber to hit the road and for me to get this truck on the road this summer. Now, you know that I do need to match this bed. I need to widen these fenders. Some material to widen these fenders, and as cool as this video will be where I make the fenders wider, I need to concentrate on getting this truck onto the road. So that is where we're going to focus the rest of the videos on this summer, starting with getting my taillights working, because really that is the last thing I need for this thing to be street legal. I need brake lights and signals. Actually, I need some signals up front too. So we're going to try and sort all of that out, and that's where I'm going to put the next little bit of effort, is going to be getting all the little things to be able to get this truck over to get a street tune and then hit the road. Because really, I can do body work all next winter. I really want to take advantage of the good summer and try and put some miles on this truck. At the very, very, very least, I want to take this thing with my family to get some ice cream. That is my goal. If I can do it by a certain date, I'm not going to reveal the date just yet. That is even better, but hopefully you liked this video. I have actually switched to how I'm editing videos. I'm using DaVinci Resolve now. I should be able to get better audio, better color. You might have seen me playing around with the colors in this video a little bit. I'm really excited to see how that improves the workflow, but more importantly, I'm excited to get this truck on the road. So hopefully you're along board with me. Please give me a like, a share, subscribe. I'd love to see some comments on this video, because I think Mike and I had a pretty good back and forth, and it was probably the most technical of my videos so far, with someone else talking about some of the stuff on this truck. Also, Mike and I did a build breakdown, so check his channel out in a little bit for that. His channel will of course be linked in the comments. But thanks again for watching this video. Thanks for keeping up and being patient with the videos. We're going to hit the ground running now, and I'm really excited for the rest of the summer. So catch you in the next one.